is Richard, and I'm going to be taking you through the advanced lower limb class session today. There'll be different sections to the class, different rounds. We're going to start with the warm-up. It's going to be 4 movements, and we're going to go with those 2 times round. I'll quickly show those to you. First one is a toe touch, reach to the ceiling, coming up onto your toes. Second movement is either a march on the spot, staying on the balls of your feet, driving your knees high, or a bit of a jog on the spot. Third movement is windmills, so feet a bit wider apart, coming down across to the other foot. And the final one is either a bit simpler, just a bit of a half backward lunge, or you can do a lunge into a high knee, like so. All right, so we will get started just now. So we will commence that warm up in 5, 3, 2, 1. Off you go with toe touches. So going down and reaching up, and if you can, lifting your heels off the floor at the top. And you are fine to bend your knees when you're doing this. You do not need to keep your legs straight. We're just bending down to touch. If you find that difficult, you can go a little less and just go to shins or knees. Okay. And then we'll be switching to high knees or jogging next. So switch over. So if you are just marching, try and keep your heels off the ground, getting your knees up nice and high, driving those arms. But you can also do a jog on the spot. Okay, and next we're going to go into windmills. So bring your feet wider apart, straight arms, coming down. Again, you are bending your knees for this. And if you struggle to get to your feet, you can just go to shins or knees instead. We want to rotate around. Okay, and then we're going to go to that backward lunge to high knee. So it's not a full lunge, just going part way down and driving the knee up. But if you struggle to coordinate that, just focus on the first part, the lunging back, like so, and alternate. But we're just going part way. Okay. And then we're coming back round to the beginning. So toe touches. These exercises are aimed at warming your body up, preparing you for the rest of the session. So you should start to find your heart rate coming up and your body just warming up nicely, so you can start to speed the movements up the second time round. Okay, and then we're coming on to high knees. So again, if you want to make that a little bit of a jog on the spot, you can. Just staying right on the balls of your feet. But it shouldn't be too difficult at this stage. Just preparing our body for what comes next. Okay, and then we've got windmills coming next, and I'm going to switch now. So feet wide apart again, and coming down to the opposite side. And then finally, coming back onto that lunge to high knee. So coming back, and up, and switching over, like so. Again, as you'll see, my knee's not coming all the way to the ground, just going part way. And rest there. So next we're going to come onto a balance circuit. So we're going to do 2 exercises, 1 on each leg. First movement is going to be standing on one leg, just reaching out to tap Four corners, forwards, sideways, backwards, and across if you can. You can miss that one if you find that too tricky. Second movement we're doing, standing on a slightly bent leg, but keeping it nice and still. You're taking the other leg back, reaching down towards the floor, but don't worry if you don't get there. The key is keeping your body straight, so you don't want any rounding of your back through that movement. Okay. And we're going to start that in. 5, 3, 2, 1. So start on either leg. You're reaching out and back each time. You'll see I'm not putting any weight on that foot. I'm just trying to take it as far as I can, bending the knee I'm standing on to get there. If you want to put your hands on your hips, keep things stable, that's fine. But the focus on this is quality of movement. Okay. And again, your knee should stay in line with where your foot's going. And rest there. Just got a short break, and then we're going to do the same on the other side. So we want to aim for exactly the same. Rather you do it slow and controlled and maintain good balance than rushing the movement. 3, 2, 1. Off you go, exactly the same. So out to the four corners, like so. This helps improve your coordination and your control, stability around your ankle, knee and hip. So again, keep that leg nice and in line. Again, you should find you manage to work your way around between 2 and 3 times, as I'm just doing here. Okay, and rest there, but finish the round you're on if you're halfway. Okay, now we're going on to that second movement. So again, standing on one leg, taking the other leg back, keeping your body straight. And we're going to do that in 3, 2, 1, off you go. So again, it doesn't matter if you get to the floor. I'm not going to here. The key is keeping your back and your leg nice and straight throughout the whole movement. Don't have to reach with both arms if you don't want to. You can just reach with the opposite arm, like so. And you could even have that hand on your back for a bit of feedback to make sure that you're not rounding the back. You'll see my knee is slightly bent, but not too much. And you should feel a stretch down the back here. Rest there. Get yourself ready, and we're going to do the other side in 10. Okay. And again, as I said, you'll be feeling it working a little bit in your hamstring, back of your thigh. But again, that balance is key. So 3, 2, 1, off you go. Same again. And again, your legs just remain relatively in line as you do this movement. We're taking it nice and slow, not rushing. The focus is on maintaining your balance. If you're struggling to maintain your balance, not going down quite as far should make that easier as well. And rest there. Okay, so that's the balance section done. If you need to work on your balance a bit more, you can repeat that section. What we're going to go to next is a more dynamic circuit, so we're going to go through 3 exercises. I'll show you the first one, and then I'll take you through the next as we go. So for each of these, there's a few levels. I'll demonstrate the first. So level 1 would just be a simple squat, down, but we're not going to full depth. Level 2 would be squatting down, and then exploding up onto your tiptoes, coming up nice and quick. Level 3 would be doing a jump, and level 4 would be a higher squat jump. Okay, so pick the level you're working on. If you're not supposed to be doing impact at this stage in your rehab yet, then stick with levels 1 or 2. Okay, and we will be starting this in 3, 2, 1, off you go. So nice and quick. So we want to be trying to move quickly through these movements. So we're only working for about 20 seconds. So we want to move quickly to work hard. And rest. Okay, now we've got 40 seconds recovery. The next movement we're going to do in this 3 exercise circuit is lunges. Level 1 would be a lunge back, slightly fuller than in the warm-up, like so. Level 2 would be a lunge forwards. Okay, and level 3 would be a jumping lunge. So starting in a lunge position, down, exploding up, and switching over. With all of these, we want to try and move quickly, so really lean into the next movement. and explode back up again quickly. And we're going to do that in 5, 3, 2, 1, off you go. So I'm going to do level 2. You can either have your hands on your hips or you can move opposite arm, opposite leg. As you'll see, almost leaning into the next step so that I'm moving quickly, trying to get many lunges into that 20 seconds. And rest. That was another 20. Again, 40 seconds rest. Final movement is a fast feet exercise. So the intensity of this will depend on how high you bring your knees. So if you need it low impact, keep those feet small, but move them really quickly. Higher you bring your knees, the more impact there's going to be, but keep the pace fast. So if you're getting the knees up nice and high, I want you to drive your arms nice and quickly, so you're still going nice and quick. And we're going to start that in 10, so get yourself set up. You'll find that this is the one that really gets your heart rate up, so be prepared for that. And we'll start that in 3, 2, 1, off you go. So drive those arms fast, and maintain the pace 4th time. And rest. That's one round done. So we're going to do a repeat of the same, starting with the squats again. I encourage you to keep it the same level. It's going to get more tiring as you go through, so I wouldn't encourage you to go up a level, but if you're really struggling, you can come down a level to make it a bit more manageable, but we want to keep the speed of the movements high. And of course, if you need to grab a drink, do. So this is hard work. Okay, 10 seconds to go, so back into squats, so either squats onto tiptoes, or squat jumps. Okay, 3, 2, 1, off you go. But again, you want to move up and down quickly. It's not a full range squat. Looking to move quickly. And rest. Okay. Again, another 40 seconds recovery. Going on to lunges again next. Again, really key. This is perhaps the hardest one to try and make the movement quick to get most out of the 20 seconds. So really focus on trying to switch those legs over quickly. If you're doing a stepping lunge, if you're doing a jumping lunge, you'll find that the movement is pretty quick anyway, and that will be challenging enough. Okay, 10 seconds to go. So get yourself in position. Okay, 3, 2, 1, off you go. So again, nice and quick switching over. Really explode back up. And bring that other foot forwards quickly, whether you're going forwards or backwards on the lunges. And rest. Okay. 40 seconds rest. And again, we're going into those fast feet. So as we said before, the height you bring your knees will determine the intensity to a degree, but however high you're bringing your knees, the focus should be on moving quickly. And if you drive your arms faster, you will find that you're able to achieve that. Might be starting to tire a little bit now, so you've really got to focus on trying to keep that pace up. All right, 15 seconds to go. Get yourself in position. And we'll go in 5, 3, 2, 1, off you go. Nice and quick. And rest. Okay, that's circuit done. Again, you could repeat that one time more to get a bit more work in. Grab a drink if you need to. Okay, so the next bit we're going to do is a bit of a hopping circuit. So if you're avoiding impact at the moment, then I'd encourage you for this next section, when we're doing the exercise, do heel raises, either on both feet, or alternate between doing it on your left and your right. But otherwise we're going to be doing some hops. We're either going to be hopping on the spot, side to side, or forwards and back. Either on both feet like so, for 20 seconds, or doing 10 seconds on your left, like so, and then switching onto your right for the second half. And we're going to do that twice round. And we're going to start that in 3, 2, 1. So balls of your feet bouncing up and down. Again, just heel raises if you need to be avoiding impact. And if you're doing it on a single leg, you need to switch now. That's halfway. If you're on double, just keep going. And you should be staying on the balls of your feet. Your heels shouldn't come in contact with the ground. And rest. 10 seconds to rest, and then going on to side, okay? 2, 1, and off you go. So again, the size of how far you go left and right will determine how challenging this is. So you can start small. If you're on one leg, you want to switch now. And rest. Okay, last one, forwards and backwards. Again, same principle. The bigger the movement, the more challenging it's going to be. 3, 2, 1, off you go. So forwards and back. Like so. And if you're switching your legs, then switch now. And rest. 10 seconds, and then we're going to repeat that one more time. I'll show you that movement, first movement side on this time, so you can see that my heels aren't touching the ground, and we're going to start that now. So staying light, not going for really high bounces, just trying to stay light on our feet. And switch now if you're on one leg. And rest. Okay, 10 seconds, and then we're going back on side to side. In 3, 2, 1, off you go. So again, start nice and small movements, doesn't need to be too far. We're working a lot of the time here, so it's going to be tiring anyway. Switch if you're on one leg. And rest. Last one, so forwards and back one more time. 3, 2, 1, off you go. And switch if you're on one leg. And rest. Fantastic. So that's the circuit section done, that hopping segment. So we've done that, but we're going to come on to next a bit more of a conditioning circuit. So for this, it's going to be longer work, shorter recovery. It's going to feel harder, that's normal. To take the pace a little bit steadier, you're going to need a band for these movements. If you've got a length of band, you want to tie it into a loop like this. If you've already got a loop, that's perfect. And we're going to put this just above the knees, like so. Okay. So we're going to start with 2 movements of this. So one set after the other. You're going to get into a half squat position like so. And staying in that position, you're going to step to the side and back. Keeping your knees over your toes and pushed out against the band and not coming so close together that the tension comes off. Don't step so wide that the knee drops in, and keep down in that squatter position. We're going to do 2 sets of that, and then we will follow that with some bridges. And they will look like this, and you can keep the band on for this, but you don't have to. Either with both legs, lifting up, holding at the top for a second and down, ensuring it's your bottom muscles, your glutes that are working, or we can do it on one leg for the first set and switch to the other for the second set. Okay, get yourself in position, and we will start that in 5, 3, 2, 1, off you go. So into that squat, stepping to the side and back. If you're short on space, you can just go side to side on the same spot like so. But again, knees shouldn't come too close together. Keeping tension in that band the whole time and staying in that squat position, knees bent and hips back. Okay? You can either keep your hands on your hips like I'm doing here, or you can have them in front, whichever feels best for you. Okay, that's 30 seconds gone. So let's keep it going. And rest. 15 seconds rest, so not very long before we jump into that again. So exactly the same movement. If you are really struggling, you can do it standing upright and put the band around your ankles. But we will do that again in 3, 2, 1. Off you go. Okay, so exactly the same. You might be starting to tire now. Just keep that pace nice and steady. We might be feeling it a bit in our quads, but where we should really be feeling it is the side of your glutes, side of your hips. Okay, we're working with the band here. Really good, let's keep it going. 30 seconds gone now, so nearly there. Okay, and stop, but don't hang around, we're going to need to get on the floor nice and quickly. We've only got 15 seconds. So get that mat at the ready and get yourself down on the floor. And we're going to come into bridges in 3, 2, 1, off you go. So again, you can have your hands on the floor like so, but the focus as you come to the top is hold for a second, really ensure that you're contracting your glutes, your bottom muscles. You shouldn't be arching your back or feeling too much tension in your back, because the work should be coming from your hips. Again, if you are doing it on the one leg, it'll look a bit more like this, and you'll be doing that for the whole 45 seconds and switching for the second set. Nice and controlled, and if you've got that band on, you're just keeping your knees out against that band, working against that resistance. Okay, 10 seconds to go. And relax. Stay where you are, 15 seconds, and then we go again. If you're doing that on your one leg, and you want to switch over to the other for the next set. But exactly the same, you're going to start feeling it now a bit more. Just keep the work going. And we'll do that in 3, 2, 1, off you go. So exactly the same again. So you're really thinking about squeezing your bottom muscles, almost tucking your tailbone under as you do that. So we're not worried about getting really high. You should just feel that maximum contraction of your glutes. Good. 30 seconds done. So just keep it nice and consistent. Don't forget to squeeze at the top. You're very nearly there. And relax. And that's the hard work done. Well done, everyone. It's brilliant. You can take that band off. We're just going to do a couple of stretches to finish. These stretches will not necessarily be comprehensive, but there'll be a few examples of things that you can do. Okay, so first we do lying on our back, one leg out straight, bring one knee up towards your chest, pop your hands around the back of your thigh, just next to the knee, and just gently straighten that knee out until you feel a stretch in your hamstring. Don't need to keep the foot pointed or flexed, just keep it relaxed. And you're just going to kick that and just hold that stretch. We're not going to time these specifically, we're going to be aiming for roughly 20 to 30 seconds hold. And we don't want to oscillate that movement back and forth, we just want to keep it nice and still, a nice steady stretch. A bit of discomfort is okay, but we don't want this to be in any way really painful. Okay, so ease off a bit if you need to. Hold that for 5, 3, 2, 1. Relax that leg down, and just repeat exactly the same on the other side. You might notice one side feels a bit tighter than the other. It's okay, just stretch it to how you feel able to. 3, 2, 1, and relax, okay? Now we're going to come up into a sitting position, okay? I'll show you face on so it's clear what we're doing here. All you're going to do, legs out in front, you're going to cross one leg over, slide it up towards you, and you're going to hug that knee in towards the opposite shoulder like so. So you're pulling it in, and if you're doing that correctly, you'll just feel a bit of a stretch around the outside of your hip here in those glute muscles we've just been working pretty hard, okay? Again, just pull to a point of stretch, don't need to force it as far as it will go, we're just holding that position. And relax, so bring that leg back out in front. And then we just do the same with the other side, cross it over, slide it up, and hug that in towards the opposite shoulder, so towards you and across, just until you're feeling that stretch. And after what we've done there, you might find it's feeling a little bit tighter, and that's normal if we work these muscles hard, so you don't necessarily need to get it as far as you can, just until you feel the stretch that helps that muscle ease off a bit. And relax, okay. Now we're going to come into a kneeling position, okay. So on your mat, if you find your knees get a little bit sore kneeling, have something cushioned for support, but you can do this a little bit in a sort of standing lunge position. We get one foot in front like so, and what we're going to do is come back first, tuck your bottom in or tuck your tailbone under. You should feel your back flatten a bit as you do that if you have your hand on there. You may already feel a bit of a stretch here, and that's perfect. All you want to do is bring that front knee forwards until you feel that stretch enough, and just hold it there. What you'll see here, and it's very important, you keep your body upright, so not arching the back or leaning forwards, because that will take the stretch off. We should just feel the stretch here, and don't worry about how far you go, we're just looking to get a bit of a stretch. Again, if you feel like you're starting to drop into it, just feel your back as it's starting to arch like so, in which case tuck your bottom in, nice and still. And we'll switch over now, so bring one leg down, and the other up. Exactly the same method, so come out of any stretch first, tuck your bottom muscles in, tuck that tailbone under, make sure your back's nice and flat, and then just take that front knee forwards, keeping your body upright, until you feel the stretch down the front of that thigh. Again, if you need to, just pop a hand on that lower back, check it's not arching too much. A little bit of curvature is fine, but we don't want it arching over too much for us leaning forwards. And relax. We're going to come up into standing now. Okay, you might want to move your mat out of the way. Firm surface. And we're just going to put one foot forward, one foot back. And keeping that back leg straight, we're just going to bend that front knee, just to get a bit of a stretch in the back of the calf. You'll find it somewhere around the back of, just below your knee, in your calf muscle. Again, just holding a gentle stretch. Again, your feet should be pointing directly forward, they shouldn't be turned out at all. And your hips should be nice and square. All we're going to do to change the position of that stretch is just bend the knee a little bit, so you're feeling it a bit lower down in the calf, just stretching the other part of your calf muscle. Just hold that for another 5. And switch over, and do the same. So bend that front knee, keeping the back knee straight, feet facing forwards, feeling the stretch at the top of your calf. And we're just going to hold that for 5 before bending the knee. And then just slightly bend that back knee, you'll feel the stretch travel further down towards the ankle. You might feel a bit of a stretch in the ankle, but it's mainly in the lower calf. And we're just going to hold that for 5 before we finish. And relax. Fantastic.